I'm Mark, poet with guitar. Hi, poets, and welcome to the Poets Reacts. I'm from Washington, D.C., and what we do here is we're shown a poem that we've never seen, and the four of us panelists and yourself will hopefully all join in and react to this poem. Marissa.
Hello, everybody! Oh my goodness, is anyone else excited to be here? Like, I'm so happy to be here tonight. I cannot wait to see what has been cooked up for us poets. And I am, of course, with my beautiful friends tonight. I'm Marissa. I'm a poet, spoken word artist, and publisher in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Don't forget, please, to comment in the chat. We love interacting with you. We love getting your questions and answering them and asking the panel lots of whatever it is you have to ask. And yeah, let's go. Lawin?
Hi, I'm Lawin. Hi, everyone. I'm Lawin from Manila. I'm poet with cigarette. It's a bad habit. Okay, but so yeah, we're here to review yet another poem and hopefully entertain you with our reactions and our archaeological findings. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube yet, you must. And of course, do the whole like thing across all the other social networks. And Kemlin's here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kimlin, and I'm your Arizona-Singapore connection. I'm a spoken word artist, a visual artist, and a teacher living in Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm so excited to ask our producers to send in the poem. Yes. Why falls so rich a spray of fragrance from the bowers of the balmy flowers upon this festive day? Why from woods and vales do we hear sweet measures ringing that seem to be the singing of a choir of nightingales? Why in the grass below do birds start at the wind's noises, unleashing their honeyed voices as they hop from bough to bough? Why should the spring that glows its crystalline murmur be tuning to the zephyr's mellow crooning as among the flowers it flows? Why seems to me more endearing, more fair than on other days, the dawn's enchanting face among red clouds appearing? The reason, dear mother, is they feast. The reason, dear mother, is they feast your day of bloom, the rose with its perfume, the bird with its harmonies, and the spring that rings with laughter upon this joyful day with its murmur seems to say, live happily ever after. And from that spring in the grove now turn to hear the first note that from my lute I emote to the impulse of my love.
Oh, I want a man to serenade me like that. Yes. Oh, if I lived in like the 1700s.
Yeah,
Yes.
1650. Yeah.
It's quite old, but it's so sweet and sentimental. I loved it.
And they have lutes.
And they have
I mean, I want the loot. I want the loot. I could rewrite that completely erotic. I could rewrite that like in a totally different way. Yeah, but it was so sweet.
I love the pastoralness of it. Yeah, how it's just really a celebration and glorification of nature, the kind that we don't see anymore.
Yes.
So, yeah. Although I have this hunch, it's not as old as you guys think. It was written to sound old, but I don't think it's as old as you think.
Well, for me, the language is fit. To me, the dawn enchanting face among red clouds appearing, as opposed to appearing clouds.
It's very Shakespearean.
To me, it's written in that style. It's written in a style when, back in the I guess from the 16th century through the 19th century, poetry was in England and in most places in Europe. I mean, there wasn't much to do at night, except
Oh
you had,
no.
everybody played an instrument. Everybody had a poem, and the poetry was part of the conversation, and it was just part of what people did at night because it was something to do, and so
Right.
everybody kind of appreciated these types of poems. They're very general. I mean, the poem itself is.
And it's
As far as raw emotion, like comparing this to today's rawness, it's very ethereal, lays on the type, and it's all very dapperly and all that. And I think it's lovely, but it's like going to a museum and looking at a painting from 1650. It's not going to have the same effect on us as a Basquiat, So you're gonna,
Right.
or a de Kooning or something.
It was very Shakespearean. It definitely was very Shakespearean. It had, the cadence and the rhyming and the iambic pentameter of the poem and the structure of it, and then the content.
Yeah,
It was.
It sounds to me like Andrew Marvell, actually, or Johnson in that style, like that. And as far as lute, also, because a lot of these guys Johnson did write and play lute, so maybe.
I'm gonna do a mark. So let's look at the cadence. Why falls so rich a spray of fragrance from the bowers of the balmy flowers?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, it's very iambic, So
Very iambic.
yes.
I could get through a whole book on that, like that. It's beautiful, right? But it's also flat.
I was gonna say that it was fun reading it. It felt like I was singing a madrigal.
You made it fun, though. The only reason it was fun was because you read it. I'm telling you, no offense, guys, but if anyone other than Kemlin would have read it, it wouldn't have had the pizzazz and the love and the emotion and the excitement. I mean, you could have 10 people read that poem, and you would be the only person that would have made that poem excited.
Challenge accepted.
Thank you.
The only line that kind of gets me is that, I think that's a little odd. The reason, dear mother, is they feast on your day of bloom, the rose with its perfume, the bird with its harmonies. That little part there is a little, Hallmark cardy.
It's a little Oedipus Rexy. It's a little Oedipus Rexy, right? A little Oedipus.
Sure.
Hallmark cardy.
Which is why I have doubts about the time period.
But for back then, that's
the concept of Mother Earth. I don't know, but we'll find out.
And when we compare it with the great nature poets that we have today, Mary Oliver, especially as a great nature poet, and all that, and the different way we celebrate all that. I think it's important for people to read this too. It's important, like, go to a museum and see all the stuff. Like, you have to be in tune with this stuff and grow up with it so that you can transcend it, right?
I like that part of saying
in your toolbox.
Okay, so now we find out that the poem was actually called My First Inspiration. It was written in 1874 in Spanish, though, and translated.
Okay.
So sure, that's kind of strange to be written in 1874 and to mention the lute, because the lute was way gone by 1874. Guitar was in, by
maybe they were
1775. It was
okay. Sorry, I have to jump in at this point. Side note: Jose Rizal is the national hero of the Philippines. So he was many things. He was very much our version of a Renaissance man. He was a doctor, a writer, yes, a poet as well. A bit of a filibuster. Okay, he was. No, he was killed by firing squad in our main square because of his supposed anti-Spanish how do you say, inclinations.
But how did he write it? What language did he write in then?
He was, as far as I know, trilingual, but because this will sound ironic, because Spanish was the lingua franca of the Philippines at the time. He would write in Spanish. For him, it was the language of the educated.
Okay.
Yeah, and hence mi primera inspiración, which is Spanish, my first inspiration.
Huh.
Yeah, but we didn't know that
Which
before.
brings me to the translation, because Nick Joaquin is a national artist of the Philippines, for national artist for literature, and well, his time period explains the translation.
Tell us
Yeah, no,
more.
That's what I was telling you, that I was missing. It sounded like there were jumps
Yeah.
in the time. This explains it.
Yeah, no, I once found it's a translation is like that. I once did a study of a poem by Baudelaire, done translated by 15 different people,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how different they all are. And I'm wondering whether this particular poet wrote in this kind of fashion in his native tongue. Was it also as archaic, or was it the translator that made it so?
Right.
And it's hard. Spanish has so many dialects, and then Spanish stateside has so many different languages within the language. You look at Pablo Neruda's stuff and how it's been broken down and translated over the years. You could give it to 3 or 4 different translators, and you would have different poems that basically said the same things, but some of those words would definitely be changed. They alter the piece.
We got a little prompt in that said that it was actually written it was written in Castilian, but it was written for his first love.
So the true
Spanish.
It
was I mean, because that mother, it threw us all off. I don't think any of us thought it was written to a person.
Maybe to a country. It felt like it was written. Yeah.
It could have been like
that's where I'd bring in again the whole what was lost in translation, or what was added in translation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, within Spain, you have 7 different regions, and they all have different dialects, and they all have different words for things. And Castilian is its own entire language too. Basque, too. Sure. It's just crazy to.
So it would then read the title "Mi primera imperación."
Yeah, necesita la zeta. Necesita la zeta y todos right. They can't. They don't understand the theta. Like they freak out. Here in New Mexico, if I use the theta, they freak out.
But I wonder if in the translation from the Spanish into the English, whoever this translator was, felt to translate it in Shakespearean fashion. I mean, we have to do some research in that to find out, or in Elizabethan fashion, I suppose.
There you go.
So we'll find out one day. But that's interesting. Anyway.
Did we find out everything about this poem we wanted to find out?
Yeah, so it's, let me do it one more time. Mi primera imperación, my first impression by Jose Rizal, 1874, the Philippines, Spain, translated by Nick Joaquin.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kellen. Thank you so much, my esteemed panel. We've come to the end of our show tonight. I do hope you join us again next time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're everywhere. Make sure you keep spreading our love. Tomorrow, we have Poets Lighthouse, and of course, Bottoms Up is Saturdays. I'm hoping that this airs and it's going to be this coming Saturday, but Post Lighthouse is tomorrow, 3 a.m. London time, and Bottoms Up on Saturdays, in morning in stateside, evening overseas. And remember, as we react to poetry that we hear and read for the first time on this show, we hope you take action with your pen so that maybe one day we'll be reading your poem. Good night, everybody.
What she said.